Awesome.
Very excited to be your Toastmaster today. I'm excited to hear some new speeches. So, this is going to be a very fun day. If you take notice in chat, I went ahead and just threw in the itinerary for quick reference for everybody to see. So, I just wanted you guys to all have that access. So, we are going to start off by talking about our word of the day. So, Kismet is a word of the day, and it's fate, destiny. That's what you want to use in your speeches today. So try to use Kismet in your speeches today, in your evaluations. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to go ahead and start this off with our first speaker. Patricia, are you in the house?
I'm here.
Ooh, it's your go. Go ahead.
Thank you. Kismet. I don't know if I can throw that in here, but I will try.
Got this.
All right. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, and thank you for welcoming myself into your homes. Let me see if I can fix my camera here. There we go. That's better. So I would like all of you to imagine yourselves driving down I-75 in an incredible speed. An unimaginable speed of over 150 miles an hour. The landscape is passing you by in a complete blur. Your heart is pounding wildly in your chest. Then suddenly, everything stops. My name is Tricia Pellegrino, and today I'll be presenting my icebreaker speech. I'm a GLSA on Team Monroe, and I'd like to thank our president, Jesus Martinez, for helping me join Toastmasters. I'm a former member from years ago from my previous school, and I missed the growth and development I was learning, so I decided to join again. Now, back to my opening statement. You're probably curious about its meaning. Let me start off by telling you that I have a few different hobbies. Now, they're not your everyday kind of hobbies, so I decided to paint you a picture of my favorite hobby. That's right, I race cars. Now, not only do I race them, but I also build them. And I'm pretty good at it too. Now, I know you're thinking, you work on cars? Yeah, since I was 18. My pride and my joy was my 2002 SS Camaro that I built with these two hands. It had 600 rear wheel horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque. It took me 6 years to build it. I had it running 4 days, and some young kid in a pickup truck pulled out in front of me and totaled it, and it was gone. But hey, live and learn. I've got an 01 sitting in the garage. Working on cars isn't my only hobby. I also love technology. Now, there's a funny story behind that. If you knew me 15 years ago, you would have never known it. My son at the time used to ban me from his room. He said I could break technology just by walking in. Today, I've completely taught myself IT technology. I even taught myself the CompTIA A+ certification. Since then, I have built computers. I even built my boyfriend a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge from spare parts, talking to students on the phone. Ask Nina, she didn't believe me. And I never went to school for it. I love learning. I feel you can never stop. I'm also studying a foreign language, Italian to be specific. I'm the first generation born in this country. However, unfortunately, my younger siblings and myself were never taught the language. Yet I feel no one is ever too old to learn, which leads me to my last hobby. My teammates lovingly call me FBI Tricia because I can track down an LDA student or an MIA student like no one's business. I get teased a lot that I should have joined the force, and had I ever considered doing so. So now I'm considering cybersecurity. Although my hobbies are very different, they have one thing in common. I use them to help others, which is my true passion. Helping others is what gives me the greatest sense of accomplishment and gives my life purpose and meaning. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about myself today. Again, I want to thank you for allowing me to present my icebreaker speech to all of you. I would like to close with these final words. My team and my students know that I'm a person and lover of inspirational quotes, and I have had my share of difficult times and feel everyone needs times of inspiration. So I'd like to leave you with some words of inspiration. To be successful, your focus has to be so intense that others think you're crazy. Unknown. Thank you again.
Wow. Thank you so much, Patricia. That was wonderful. What a wonderful speech. It's very awesome to hear that you once were a Toastmaster and now you found your way back to us. I am very excited myself as secretary here at Toastmasters to see what you come up with. That was beautifully said. I love the smiles and the energy. And I think we're all trying to learn little tidbits of different languages. I got a little French and a little Japanese. But it's fun. So I love that you're building on that culture. And the car thing, amazing. I love it. Thank you for joining us today for that and that wonderful speech. We're going to go ahead and move on to someone we haven't heard in a little while. Mr. Juan, take the floor.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, I want to start by thanking you all for being here today. I know what the way things are in this world, it's hard for us to come together. And with that being said, I know Juan would really appreciate you all being here today, even though he couldn't be. As you all may or may not have known, Juan Colon passed away in his sleep last Friday night. His body was found the next morning by authorities due to his neighbors' constant complaining about his dogs barking. Unfortunately, they don't know what caused his death, but they can tell us at least he went peacefully. Peacefully. Juan wanted nothing more than to live a life of peace, a life of fulfillment. At only 29 years old, 2 months before his 30th birthday, Juan's life was cut short. But in that time, he lived a life that made him proud. He worked for a company that changed people's lives for the better. I'm never going to forget the passion that Juan shared every day when he would walk into the office. He'd start his mornings by just saying a hello to Yanni and the other members of the security team, just to make sure that they knew they were a part of the organization just as much as anyone else. He would visit his old team and mock interview in the morning. He always spoke highly of you all, especially you, Joseph. He considered you a friend at a time where he needed one most. Speaking of friends, Juan really didn't have many friends. What he'd had was family. He tried to be very selective about the people that he let into his life, into his circle, but once you were in, there was nothing he wouldn't do for you. I remember speaking the other day to one of his old high school friends, Robert, and Robert was telling me about a time where Juan had just graduated high school, moved off to college, was moving on with his life, and unfortunately, Robert fell into some tough times. He reached out for Juan for help, and you know what Juan did? He convinced his parents to let Robert stay in his old bedroom. Why? Because Juan didn't have friends. He had family. Where would we be without our family? Where would I have been without Juan? I know it sounds funny to say, but I saw a lot of myself in Juan. He was young, bright, charismatic, but even then he was still broken. He knew the world could be a horrid place, and that's why he tried to make it a little better each day with little moments. He tried to instill the same love for those little moments in his little niece, Samira. She's 8 years old now, and she loved her uncle more than anything. On the few times where Juan could go to Orlando to visit, they would spend time together going to the store, just picking up candies and treats. They would take little walks to the park with his dog just to get some fresh air, or they'd just sit at home, reading books, listening to music. I know one memory that they both cherished was when Samir was about 2, 3 years old. It seemed kismet that day that she was just going to walk into Juan's room while he was listening to a song called Am I Wrong by Nico and Vines. You know the song, right? It goes, "Am I wrong for thinking that we could be something for real? Oh yeah, 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 yeah." She loved that song. More importantly, she loved the way it felt, the way she felt when she got to spend this wonderful moment with her uncle. She loved it so much that even years later, she would send him YouTube links to that song just to let him know he was thinking about her. Juan did his best to emphasize the importance of appreciating these little moments in life. Appreciate the songs that make you move. Appreciate the birds you hear singing in the sky. Appreciate the breeze that cools your face. Take a moment to be like Juan and appreciate the little moments that bring you joy, because in the end, the little moments are all we have. Thank you.
What an emotional piece, Juan. Very unique approach. I'm very excited to have heard your speech today, but I love that you were able to keep your tone soft and calm, and we really felt it. Like I felt like you were tearing up. That was that's what a good speech is all about. So
Thank you.
very, very great job. And thank you so much for joining us for your speech. I just want to take a quick moment for everyone else to make sure everyone does have access to your evaluation sheets. Is everybody okay? Raise your
Where
hand if
they?
not.
Can you remind me where they are again, please?
Okay, so let me go in. I know that we had some sent over, so I'll partner with Jonathan to make sure that they are visible to all of you. So also, if you need something from Jonathan, he does do a lot of the forms and paperwork, so we'll make sure. So I'll make sure you guys can find that. In addition, I want to take a moment to go over as well our rules of engagement. So for some of our new members or returning members, a couple of things. Another thing you want to remember is rule number one, we want to make sure that attendance is really where it needs to be. So, if you're in the course, I mean, in the meeting, right, and you're here and you're doing quality evaluations, of course, those sheets are going to be helpful. So we'll make sure that they're visible to you all. We'll try to get them in chat or something real fast, but we want to make sure that we are definitely accounting for attendance, that we're coming on time, we're staying throughout the entire duration. It's going to be treated like a meeting you would have in your own team, right? It's that important. So we can't leave early. We want to make sure that number two, we do have quality evaluation. So definitely don't forget your voting on those sheets. That's how we look at who's got best speeches. And with that said, I want to also add, just remember to mute your screen and your mic when you aren't speaking. These are just some quick little how-tos just to keep us all on the same page. Jonathan, did you have any luck with those forms, or anyone chime in on that for me?
I do believe that the evaluation forms are in the team link under files, like you would find in your normal Teams, guys. So if you just click at the Teams button in our general files, you'll see if you're a timer, the timing sheet is located there. If you are doing a role that needs a required form, should be located there. And if you do not see it there, let us know by sending Jonathan a direct message. So at this point, I want to just ensure that everyone does have access to the evaluation forms. And if you don't, send us an IM so that we can get that to you. It also should have given us just enough time for everybody to give a little feedback on their evaluations thus far. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Latina. Anyone have any concerns with this?
If it'll help, I could post the link directly to the file straight into chat.
Perfect.
I just noticed that somebody had played around a little bit in the actual file itself, so you're going to have to delete that first paragraph, but after that, y'all should be good.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Joseph. I appreciate that.
Anytime.
And thank you. And thank you, Miss Latina, for chiming in for that clarity as well. With that said, Mr. Jesus, our president ourselves, you ready to go?
I am ready to go. I'm a little under the weather. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. My name is Jesus Martinez, and Today, I'm going to be discussing speech 2.3, which has two different objectives. The first objective is to explain a little bit of the differences between mentoring and coaching. And the second objective is to actually talk about a protege experience myself. So some of the differences between coaching and mentoring, you'll notice that most coaches are usually, managers, supervisors that are asked to teach someone a skill set, help them to overcome an objective. So they'll usually give you, some instructions on what you need to do to achieve a goal. A mentor is someone that is someone usually you seek them out because you look up to them. They have great skills. They have qualities that you admire. And usually these are people that will work with you over a long term, over multiple goals. So while the coach is teaching you specific skills, the mentor is actually teaching you personal long-term skills. They're not telling you what to do. They're actually challenging you to figure it out on your own and supporting you. And even if you fail, it's okay because they're there to support you. A coach is telling you what your next action item is, whereas a mentor is letting you become the best you. They don't want you to be a clone of them. They want you to be the best you. So for me, one of my very, very dearest mentors was actually my mother. And I really loved the way that she brought me up. She taught me to be my own person, to explore my own feelings and to explore my own problems on my own and try to figure them out and get back to her. One of my first really major experiences with my mother was when I was a real little kid. We actually went to the grocery store and my mother was friends with everybody. And we went over there. She bought some bread and some milk. And we walked out of the store and I was chewing on some gum. And my mother turned back to me and said, "Where did you get that gum?" And I just looked at her and I kind of crouched down. "I got it from the store, Mom. I just grabbed it off the shelf and started eating it." "You mean you didn't pay for that gum?" And I said, "No, Mom, I didn't pay for it." This was really the first time that I ever saw my mother cry. And if I can quote one of my favorite speakers, Mr. Danajaya, he said that mothers cry three different types of tears. They cry tears of joy, they cry tears of sadness, and they cry tears of shame. And that was the first time I ever saw her cry tears of shame. And she looked at me in my eyes and she said, "I want you to be a better person. I want you to be a better man." What kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be someone that hurts people? Or do you want to be someone that helps people? And at that moment, I just started crying. "I'm so sorry, Mommy. I'm so sorry. I want to help people. I want to help people. Please don't be mad at me. Please don't be mad at me." So she said, "Let's go inside and talk to this grocery store and tell them, look, I didn't mean to steal it. I didn't even know it was stealing. I didn't know how to pay for it. But you need to explain your actions to him." I went in. I was embarrassed. I was crying. The store owner really liked me and they pinched my cheek and they told my mother, "Don't worry about it. He's just a kid." But my mother was like, "No, he needs to understand that stealing is not only wrong, but it hurts people." And I always remembered that lesson. It stayed with me later on in my life when I actually went on and grew up to become a man and I became a manager. I remember one time we had like a petty cash box in our office and I never touched that cash. And one time we had a customer come in that we had to take them out to eat and I called my manager and he was like, "Just use the cash from the petty box." And I was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" He was like, "Hey, Seuss, that's what it's for." So I really thought back to that lesson that my mom taught me when I was younger, how important it is to have great mentors. Another time that my mom was really great at encouraging me to solve my problem was I actually was bullied when I was in grade school. And, these guys were really tall and they used to curse at me and push me. And I went home crying and telling my mother. And my mother was like, "What do you want me to do? Do you want me to help you with this? Or do you want to try to find a solution yourself?" And I was like, "Mom, do you want to form a gang with me?" She was like, "Form a gang? Why?" "Because if we form a gang, no one will bother me." She was like, I would love to be in a gang with you. So the next day I'm in school and the bullies come up to me and I look at them and I say, you better not bother me. I'm in a gang now. They're like, you're in a gang? Whatever, give me a break. And they just walked away from me disgusted, but they never bothered me again. So again, this was an empowering moment for me as I realized that I could be creative. I didn't have to be a victim, that I could actually, you know, follow my instincts, follow my heart, and overcome my own problems using my own ideas. And so this is why I love my mother so much, because she never tried to make me Margarita Martinez 2.0. She encouraged me to be the best Jesus Martinez that I could be. They say that every great achiever, they say that behind every great achiever is a great mentor, and my mother was the greatest mentor and inspiration that I ever had. Thank you so much.
Okay, Margarita Martinez. Okay. That was a very nice speech. Thank you so much from our president, Mr. Jesus Martinez, always having very beautiful speeches. We're doing really well on time. And before we get to our table topics, I want to do something a little fun real quick, kind of on the fly. We're doing a work from home thing. This is a new experience. Give you guys a little more time to work on your evaluations, but I'm looking in our little list of who's in the meeting today, and I'd love to see in the chat box, everyone pop in there if this is your first time in a meeting in a while. I see Mrs. April Valdez. I see Charlene, Elliot, Matt. Some of you newbies, I'd love to see some chats in there. That would be really fun just to say, hey, I'm here. We're excited. With that said, we are going to go ahead and move toward to our table topics master, Mr. Sir James.
What's happening? It's been a while. So I wanted to take over and lead. So I'm hoping that your kismet of answers will be sufficient for everyone to evaluate you properly. Hope I used that word right. But anyway, let's get started. So I'm going to pick on some newbies that I haven't either seen speak in a while or haven't heard you speak at all. So the first person I'm going to pick is my boy, Elliot. Go ahead and show your face, man.
I gotta find my camera because I don't never use it.
Oh man.
Yeah. Harley's. One moment, y'all. My daughter be playing by my desk too at night, so she might have moved it. Here it is. All right. There we go, y'all. Sound like I got a lot going on.
Yeah,
but I
man.
really don't, y'all. I really don't. All right. Here we go. Boom. 3, 2,
1. Let's
1.
get it. There it is.
All right.
Welcome, welcome. All right, so the numbers we are choosing from today are 150 through 200. So pick a number between 150 and 200.
I'll take 200.
200. Question is, what do you think is worth waiting for? What do you think is worth waiting for?
Okay. All right. How long do I have? Do I have a time or just speaking?
Somebody
You
clarify
have
with me.
you have 1 minute before the green card goes up, and then our next time that it kicks in, I just want to tell you exactly.
Okay.
This is what I was talking about, the time. If you guys ever do the timing sheet, you'll see the breakdown in there. But when you're doing table topics, the green card goes up at 1. The yellow flasher goes up at 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then our red card goes up at 2 minutes. And then you're disqualified in the event you end up at one of the international competitions at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So just to repeat, green card is up at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute and 30 seconds, and red card is at 2. And all of our speakers today, they have the same platform with the green, yellow, and red. Their time is 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and 7. All right, the floor is back to you, Elliot.
All right. Thank you very much. So the question was, what would I wait on? What would I wait on?
What do you think is worth waiting for?
What do I think is worth waiting for? If I had to say something that was worth waiting for, I would say sex before marriage. Only because I understand a little bit more for our soul ties. I understand that, when you have sex with a person, that it's deeper than just the physical aspect of it. And that's not something that I understood, in my youth. But knowing that now, you kind of carry, baggage from relationship to relationship, holding on to certain things. So I would wait to have sex before marriage, just to understand myself more as a person, or to have understood myself more as a person, and understanding other people, what I like, what I don't like. That's all I really got.
Awesome, awesome. Great job. Great answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Great
Yay!
That was it.
answer. I don't know if y'all remember, I did that speech about sex before marriage. I had them sticky notes that was falling off me. Had Diane on the basketball.
Yes.
That was phenomenal. So great answer. Great answer. So my next victim is going to be Miss April.
Hi, yes, I'm here. How are you? Hello, everybody.
Excellent. Excellent. Glad to have you here.
So,
So
unfortunately, my camera is not working properly right now, and I've attempted 3 times. Is that going to be
okay.
okay?
That's fine. That's fine. We'll let you
Okay.
slide this time. So pick a number. You can't pick 200. So now 150 through 199.
I would say 99.
All right, 199. So we're going to do that one.
Yes.
So, question is, what's been on your mind the most lately? What's been on your mind the most lately?
Good question. Being that we have a lot, obviously, the elephant in the room is COVID-19 and also the safety and family. One of the biggest things that's been on my mind is I'll start with a quote. Failure is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Worrying and anxiety and how to keep that under control in the face of a parent, a child, talking to your peers, speaking to you today has been on my mind is how do I eliminate the worrying inside so I'm able to go ahead and speak and convey a message that's going to give that next person an okay. So what's been on my mind is keeping my composure in the midst of panic and crisis. How do I do that? How do I stay calm? And continuing to work through that each and every day, because every day there's a new challenge, every day there's a new worry, there's a new fear. How do we keep that compartmentalized? How do we think about the event that's happening? The thoughts, what are your feelings, and what are you saying to yourself? So when I speak to someone, I think about how they're feeling first. If I go out, thank you for working today to the essential workers. If I'm on the phone with a graduate, how are you doing? Personalizing, unsynthesizing myself to not be robotic, but know that they're a mother, they're a father, they're a parent, they're a student, they're a teacher, whomever or however they are that I'm speaking to. So I try to compose myself. And when I'm talking about failure, failure is not attempting to do that. And I would like to always leave someone because we don't know today or tomorrow if it's promised. So while we're here, I like to infect whatever I can that's positive to the next person and to pass it along. And with that, I'm out.
That was
What?
phenomenal. That
Love it.
April,
Thank
I felt like you wrote that. Like you was
Right.
prepared
I
for
promise
your
I didn't write anything. I wish
That
you
was
could see me.
beautiful.
right.
Thank you.
Right?
You guys are
Exactly,
good.
Joseph.
Okay.
That was a table topic. That felt like that was a speech.
Standing
Yeah,
ovation.
that's what I was talking about.
And
Wow.
that was 2 minutes and two seconds. Get it, April.
Man,
Thank you.
that was awesome. That was awesome. Your
Thank you.
kismet was definitely displayed in that
Yeah.
answer. That's two
Thank you.
times. Hope y'all taking notes. I said kismet.
Uh-huh. I
That's
hear
three
you. I hear
times
you.
now. So for the grammarian today. So my next victim is going to be Miss Lucy Jean, who's in the house.
Hello.
Oh,
Oh,
hello.
okay. Let me
So
see if you guys can see me. Can you guys see
there it
me?
is. I see
Yay!
you.
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. So you get to pick a question between 150 and 198.
Okay. Now, I do want to start off is how am I supposed to follow what April just dropped on our lap right now?
She just dropped the mic on that one.
Like, come
Real,
on,
you
that's a
got this.
hard
You
act to
got this.
follow.
Then said the Mamba, I'm out. Like that was
Okay,
incredible.
okay.
Word of the
Well,
day.
I'll do what I can. I'll do what I can. Number 44, please.
All right, so the numbers 150 through 198.
Oh, 150 to 198. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry, wasn't paying attention. 151.
151. So your question is, when does silence convey more meaning than words? When does silence convey more meaning than words?
When does what? Silence convey more meaning than words?
Yes.
That's a good question. I feel like silence is probably one of the most deadliest weapons that you can use besides using your words. Um, but it all depends on how you use your silence. Like I'm one of those people, I don't argue. Once I'm done, I'm done. So, I feel like it makes much of a bigger impact, especially if you've already expressed how you really feel about the situation and nothing is really coming across to that person. So sometimes it's better to just step back and have them maybe evaluate a former conversation that you guys have had in the past, and hopefully it might make an impact on that person to see, okay, maybe this person completely stepped back from me and no longer wants to communicate with me due to an action that I have brought up in the past. And sometimes that silence can really make more of an impact with that person changing their lives, than constantly bringing up the same topic over and over and there's hasn't been any changes. Sometimes it's best to just leave it be and just step away and let that silence be the motivation to what you're trying to get across, basically. So that's all I have.
Great answer. I want to say
Great job.
you did a phenomenal job following Miss April. So
Oh, thank
excellent answer.
thank
Excellent answer.
you.
Silence is so deadly. You do not want anyone to respond in silence. You know, I mean, I feel like if someone's responding in silence, it's like they're imagining how they're hurting you in their mind. Like, oh, I'm really choking this person. But anyway, uh, just thoughts, just thoughts. Last, do I have time for one more?
Let's do one more.
One more. Uh, since you're up on my screen, brother Matt, you get
What's
to
up?
pick. You get to pick between, let's just say 152 and 198.
180.
180. Question 180 is, what are your top three priorities? What are your top three priorities?
All right, I'm going to start here. As far as my top three priorities, I can't say any one of them are really going to touch on Kismet. I don't think any of those priorities are really something that pertain to your destiny. I think they all pertain to the here and now because it's going to be one day at a time. My priorities are my son. I have a responsibility to my son to make sure that I teach him to be the man that he needs to be, not a, as Jesus said, a 2.0, but I need to teach him how to be his own man. But I need to teach him everything that I have learned, teach him from my mistakes so he can be that better man. My
other priority is my own development. That once again is going to be on a day-to-day basis. I have to learn how to develop my wisdom, my health, my ability. I have to make sure that I'm constantly humble enough to learn and not feel that I know enough in any avenue. And thirdly, I would say my priority is not just learning, but I have to make sure that I grow. You can learn, but not grow. And I think that's what we need to make sure of. You can read 100 books, but if you're not applying any of that knowledge, you are not growing. So I think growth is going to be my third priority. And once again, as I said, I don't think that really tends to be something of a matter of destiny or kismet, but I think that's really something that we need to commit to collectively on a daily basis.
Yes.
Awesome answer. Awesome answer.
How many ums?
Great, great, great. You gotta
How
wait to
many
the
Oh,
end. You
ums?
gotta wait to the end.
you gotta wait to the
Okay.
end for that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
But
Boom.
excellent job. Everyone did a phenomenal job on table topics. I felt great to be the table topics master. Now it's time to pass it back to our Toastmaster, Miss Dorothy Lynn. See you
Hello,
guys.
hello. Thank you, Sir James. I always love seeing you in the meetings and hearing you speak. You do such a phenomenal job with it. All of our Toastmasters today, amazing. Very, very awesome getting to see your faces and feel a little more about how you're feeling and just the things that are just coming off the top of your head. Very awesome job. We're doing really well on time. We have 3 evaluators that are going to be speaking, and then we'll hand it over to our general evaluator after, but we're going to bring Miss Francis up as our first evaluator.
Hey everybody, good afternoon. I am going to be evaluating Patricia or Trisha. Um, you did a great job just coming out and talking about yourself, letting us get to know a little bit about you. You hit on your love and passions, especially with language and cars and technology. So I was really excited to hear a little bit about you as a newbie. You did a great job just being clear and communicating all of that information to us. You were also doing a really great job just keeping eye contact. It's kind of hard in this forum. Of course, we're on a webcam. It's kind of hard to keep our focus on the lens and really have that really good eye contact. So I continue doing great on that. I also thought that you did a great job just captivating us and just, it was like a surprise after surprise. When you were saying, "Oh, I build cars and I build computers and now I'm learning a different language." So, like, it was just surprise after surprise after surprise, and that was so great just to be able to understand that about you. It's a little hard to kind of gauge the audience, of course, when we're on this forum, so I really didn't go much there, say much on that. But the comfort level that you expressed and just the interest or the interesting topics that you decided to speak on, they were just on point. So I would definitely want you to work a little bit on maybe your vocal variety to really bring something, a little spice into it. Maybe, you know, I have a hard time doing this myself. I don't like to change up my tone too much, but getting a little louder and getting a little softer always brings a nice variety to your speech. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Amazing job, Francis. Thank you for that evaluation. You're always very thorough and very detailed. And I love that you pay attention to those details because these are the evaluations that help us all actually get better. It's hardest to give someone that has a great speech something to work on, right? But this is something that you are always really, really positive about. So phenomenal job. Now we're going to bring up Miss Charlene with the evaluation of Juan's speech. Hello, Charlene.
Hello, my Toastmasters members. How everybody doing today? I had the chance to evaluate Juan, and wow. Little moments, goodbyes. Wow. I loved your speech. It allowed me to envision not just myself, but my moments and my future as well, and everything around me. So, wow, clarity. You spoke clearly, easily. Everybody understood you. I gave you a 5 for that. Your tone, your speed was perfect. I wouldn't tell you to go any faster. I wouldn't tell you to go any slower. Eye contact. I was literally looking into your eyes in the screen. So I definitely love the eye contact. It felt like I was right there in front of you and you were talking directly to me. So I gave you a 5 with that. Your gesture as well, again, 5. Audience awareness. I'm not sure if you realize that. Even Diane, you made Diane get in tears. I was teary-eyed as well. So great job with that. I love how you involve Joseph. I love how you brought up your thoughts about your peers and how you see them as family. Again, you did have the audience attention. Great job with your speech, Juan. I couldn't say nothing. I couldn't say nothing about your speech. Nothing bad at all. The thing I was trying to actually look and see what I can find is something that you can do better, or make something that you want to work on, or maybe challenge yourself with. I was still having a hard time doing that. However, Bobby, I'm gonna have to call you back. I'm in the middle of Toastmasters. All right, bye. Okay. Sorry. I couldn't find that. However, I was just so wild. I just lost the words, Juan. You did an excellent job just from you dressing up from head to toe, your appearance, everything. It was just amazing. Great job, Juan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of that.
You're welcome.
Miss Charlene, I love the point that you made about it's, always wonderful to bring props if you can, but just dressing the part alone is actually a really great additive to a speech. And I must say, I know that you feel everything, Charlene. So I know that speech got you. And I have just seen you blossom as the rest of us has. Your speeches are beautiful. You're becoming a lot more confident, and I just love hearing you speak. So keep up the awesome work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. With that said, it is Mr. Jonathan's turn. How you doing, Jonathan?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. So I had the honor to evaluate Mr. Jesus Martinez, our president's speech, and man, he really hit a lot of points. Let me just go like into detail. When he talked about his mother and the disappointment that his mother experienced, I felt it. I felt it. It was a very emotional experience. Like I could see how much of an impact that had, and I can relate to that. And I feel like everybody, one way or another, whether you had a mother or father, you had some type of person you looked up to at one point in your life, and you disappointed them, and you didn't want to make that same mistake. So great story. And the most important thing is with that emotional experience, he tied in the purpose of his project was to clearly envision how Toastmasters envisions mentorship. And he did a really good job on that and putting himself as the protege and his mother being the mentor. So great job in connecting all the dots with your purpose of your speech. I thought it was a great job. One of the things I thought that you excelled in our virtual world that we live in right now is you did a great job on hand motions. I was able to see the hand motion that you guys did. So you did really great on that. You did a great job expressing the story. All right. Even though you were sick. All right. So the big knock I'm going to give is in that story, you could be a little bit more exaggerate. It wasn't the typical Jesus Martinez speech because you're not feeling well. So I know that the energy level could have been way higher and then you could have brought it low like you already had it. So that's one of the things that I think that you may work on. And one of the things I encourage you to kind of look at and to challenge yourself is really think outside the box. Overall, I gave you 5s on everything. The one thing I would do is maybe animate the story, maybe having a high or a low. All right. So I just kind of wanted to bring that out to your attention. And really, Jesus, you're a great speaker. I want to encourage you to keep doing it. Although you're a president, you always need to challenge yourself. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. You always have very, very wonderful clarity in your evaluations and your speeches, and I love your evaluation of Jesus's speech. I want to touch back on our word of the day, Kismet, and it's interesting of all of the different individuals that we've heard from today. There was an example on our itinerary, which I posted in chat for everyone to see a couple of times. And the example sentence is funny to me because it says, the Kismet of her success is beyond what she can see, he or she can see. And it just kind of resonates with me in terms of all of the different experiences we've heard today. So I just thought it was very, very on point. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and hand it over to our general evaluator, Miss Latina.
Hey everybody. Woo woo. We made it through 3 speeches today. I'm doing my own jam session. Our virtual world is really growing, it's really changing, and I really enjoyed today's speakers. It has been a while since we've heard some of those voices. It has been a while since we've heard new voices. Table topics was amazing. I definitely am excited for what's coming for the Ultimate Academy of Speakers. I got you, Jonathan, so that we can take it to a new level. And the Kismic of our next level is beyond our own existence when it comes to where we think we're heading. The existence of this platform is about to explode. We are going to be able to see people grow beyond what we've ever seen. And it's all because you guys are committed to being a part of this growth and this leadership. And I think this meeting went phenomenal. I was glad to hear Matt's voice. I was glad April showed up and showed out because when I met her at the open house, I was like, she's in it. I know she's in it. And listen, to follow her, that is not easy, and you did a great job following her, Lucy. So, what this is about is all of us growing and all of us doing something different and taking it to a new level. We started out on time, that's always great. Dorothy took the mic and was able to help us do some housekeeping. We now know that we can go into the Teams file, or we can easily get a link from one of our fellow Toastmasters. This platform is about us building and continuing to build each other to a new level in order for us to be the leaders that we're designed to be, not just in UMA, but outside of UMA. So we can be sick, we can be tired, we can have kids in the background, but if we're not building and growing like we heard in our speeches, and we're not in a position to be able to give a monologue after our death to show our growth, or be in a position to allow us to connect to each other on different mentor levels or different coaching outlooks, then we're not really doing what we got to do in order for us to take that maximum potential. And that's what Toastmasters is about. So I think our meeting went really well. We had 3 amazing speakers. We tag team with our freestyle, what I call freestyle for our table topics. Understanding what everybody needs to maintain the success of this club really has to do with us participating. As long as you are effectively giving feedback, we're not asking for a story, but effectively giving feedback and allowing us to vote on the best speaker and the best table topic, it allows our leadership to see our growth and our development. And each month, we give them a reflection of how that outcome has gone each meeting that we have. So your feedback is not just for us, guys. It's really because our leadership wants to see how we're growing and where they can utilize our skills in the most maximum potential possible. So today's meeting showed me we can do that and run circles around club after club after club as we grow and get into more competitions. So as your general evaluator, I pass the mic back to our Sergeant at Arms to make sure that we close out strong. You guys have a great day.
All right. So we actually did a very good job. I don't know, Dorothy, if we have time for ums and ahs and timekeepers. We have 10 minutes.
I think that we'll be okay with that. And one thing that I want to say before we finish that up, I just want to touch a little bit on some upcoming things with Toastmasters in this quick moment. We have some exciting work from home catered tools that some of your leadership is we're all working to bring to you all members to make some of this work from home IT stuff the process a little easier. So cool things to come. Just wanted to throw that out there. Miss Diane, did you want to talk about the ah and ums?
I'm muted.
No, no.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get started with our Toastmaster, Dorothy Lynn. There were 5 so's, 1 but, and I noticed you have a brand new filler called awesome.
That's awesome.
Jonathan. Jonathan, Sergeant at Arms. 1 1 so as the Sergeant at Arms. Patricia, speaker number 1, you had 1 and you like tongue click. You have 34 tongue clicks. Just breathe, and you got it because your speech was phenomenal. Juan Colon Arenas, killing the game. Blank slate. Boom. Jesus Martinez, speaker number 3, 2 3 so's, 6 ands, 5 tongue clicks. Your brand new filler word is called really. Sir James, table topic master. You have 1 6 so's, that's it. Elliot, table topic number 1, 4 1 you know, 2 and. April, table topic number 2, you have 4 so's and 1 tongue click, that's it. Lucy Jean, 11 2 so's, 3 and, that's it. Matt, 2 that's it. 2, you asked.
Okay.
All right. Francis, 5 1 like, 1 you know, 6 so's, 2 buts, and a 1 and. Charlene, 25 3 so's, 1 and. Breathe. You got this. Jonathan, as an evaluator number 3, 6 so's, 7 ands. And you like the words as your new fillers, great and all right. Latina, general evaluator, 2 3 so, 1 but, 2 and. That's it. Thank you kindly.
Very, very wonderful. Thank you for that. Very good job. Now I'm going to try to go for a different word outside from awesome, maybe awe-inspiring. Your evaluation of the ahs and ums in your counting was very awe-inspiring for me. So very awesome job. I said awesome. We're going to go ahead and move it back over to Mr. Jonathan Ortiz.
Awesome. I just said
You said awesome
And
also.
I got a question about timer. Who was the timer for today?
I was
The
the
Miss
timer
Latina?
for today. Yes, it was me. And I'm going to try to go as quickly as possible so we can exit on time. And I'm not
Absolutely.
going in the right order, I don't think, but I'm going to try my best. Our first speaker, you were at 4 minutes and 21 seconds. Great job. Our second speaker won 4 minutes and 8 seconds. Great job. Jesus, you made it right at 6 minutes. Great job. For our table topics, Elliot, 46 seconds, 93. I don't know what that is, but that's what I'm gonna give you. April, 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Lucy Jean, 1 minute, 51 seconds. Matt, 1 minute and 45 seconds. Francis, we're at 2 minutes, 53 seconds. Charlene, 2 minutes, 19 seconds. Jonathan, I have you at 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Feel like I'm missing somebody. I think that's everybody. I gave Matt his, right? Okay, that's everybody.
Great, awesome. See, I got it. Dorothy got me saying awesome.
Outstanding, remarkable. I'm working on it.
So this is.
We
I
froze.
said so.
Are we still here?
Hello.
Hey, I think we
Okay.
all froze. We're back.
All right. So, man, I can't. I gotta stop saying filler words. I gotta work on these.
Breathe in instead of saying breathe in and then speak. With that
Now,
said,
to conclude our meeting, I just wanted for everybody to go into the Toastmasters Members General tab and please vote for Best Speaker, Best Table Topics, and Best Evaluator. Does anybody need help getting there? Well, it should be similar to your teams.
Jonathan, not that I need any help getting there, but where do we send the evaluations? Do you want me to send it to your email?
Yes.